Hey guys, Philly Sports, and welcome back to another video, another daily video. Today we got a mock draft. I promised you guys yesterday if nothing happened regarding the Eagles or any Philly sport that I'll drop a mock draft. So here you go. I put it up on my Instagram. So if you guys didn't check it out already, then I'm going to discuss it today in the video. I might break down a couple of the picks. If I know anything about it, I'll definitely discuss it. So let's get into it. Obviously, with the first pick, I had the Bengals taking Joe Burrow. Obviously, they need a quarterback. Obviously, they made it clear that they're shopping Andy Dalton, but they're not really getting anything. So they said they might just keep him as like a mentor for Joe. Even though Joe doesn't need that much of a mentoring because he's a really good quarterback. So good pick for them. It's pretty much a lock, but there's a lot of rumors going around about the Dolphins trying to get that pick, but I don't think that's gonna fly with the Bengals because they're pretty set on Joe Burrow. But we'll see. It's gonna be very interesting. Redskins, obviously Chase Young, pretty much a lock here also. They met a bunch of times during the combine, like discussing what they want from each other. So pretty much a lock there. Washington really needs more of a rush. They got Kerrigan, but he's getting old, and that's about it. They don't really have any good pass rushers, so getting Chase Young will be a good start for them. I have the Lions taking Jeff Okudah, the top corner. Obviously, they got rid of Darius Slay. They're going to start building up that secondary again just to build it for the future. And getting Okudah will start with that. He's a great corner. I think it'll be a good pickup for them. Obviously, any team would want a corner. You can never have enough talent at corner. So, good pick for the Lions here. Giants are taking linebacker Isaiah Simmons out of Clemson, one of the highest rated prospects coming in. I wouldn't be surprised if the Redskins take Isaiah Simmons at 2. Maybe see. He's been ripping it up lately in the media. We'll just see. Also with the Giants, they need more pass rushers. They locked up Leonard Williams with the franchise tag, so that'll be good. That'll be a good start to building up that defensive line. They also had a big offseason picking up Blake Martinez. So that defense is already looking pretty scary, not going to lie. They already have a lot of talent on that defense. And us Eagles fans should look after it. Definitely a lock here also. We have the Dolphins taking Tua out of Alabama. Obviously, he's got injured, but he still had a pretty decent career at Alabama before his senior year got cut short. Dolphins also need a quarterback. They went with Fitzmagic last year. Fitzmagic played okay. He didn't play terrible, but obviously Miami wants to move on. They want to build their future with Tua, and I think that's a good pick for them. It's either Tua or Justin Herbert, or maybe they take someone else and maybe take a chance with Jalen Hurts later in like 3rd, 4th round. But I have them taking Tua here. Chargers, I have them taking Justin Herbert out of Oregon. He ripped up college football on the top prospects at quarterback. It's been a pretty stacked quarterback class with Joe Burrow, Tua, Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, Jacob Eason, Jalen Hurts, Jake Fromm. It's a pretty stacked class for quarterbacks. Chargers take the 3rd best available on the board with Justin Herbert. They said they're going to go with Tyrod Taylor, and they might pick up Cam Newton. So, Chargers are going to have a pretty easy job finding that new quarterback with a lot of options available to them. I have the Panthers working on that offensive line. They're taking Jedrick Wills. Obviously, this draft is also stacked with offensive linemen, and the Panthers are getting the best on the board with Jedrick Wills. Big body, offensive tackle, not an offensive guard, offensive tackle. Panthers, they don't really have any presence. They don't have any big names on the offensive line. So they're going to try to build that up for Teddy Bridgewater. So we'll see how that works out for them. Pretty good pick for them. This could be a lock. I'm pretty sure it is. These first couple picks are pretty much locks in my eyes. Moving on, we got the Cardinals taking Tristan Wirfs. You obviously want to protect Kyler as much as possible, even though he is pretty mobile. You want to have those offensive lines shift with him. And Tristan Wirfs is very athletic, so he's going to be able to shift. If Kyler moves left to right, he'll be able to shift with him and block downfield. Maybe we see Jason Kelsey runs downfield and blocks, and maybe Tristan Wirfs will be that next guy who runs downfield and blocks. Jaguars are taking defensive tackle Derek Brown. Their defense is depleting. They've been losing a lot of players lately. They lost Jalen Ramsey. They lost A.J. Boye. Get my computer. Alright. Okay. Some technical difficulties. Anyway, they lost Jalen Ramsey, A.J. Boye. They lost Calais Campbell. Unique Ngakwe doesn't even seem he wants to be there anymore, so that's not good. So they get a good start to rebuilding that defense, and hopefully this pick pans out for them. We have the Browns taking offensive tackle Mekhi Becton. Browns had a pretty good offseason. I think they picked up Jack Conklin, right? So that Browns offensive line, obviously losing Joe Thomas a couple years hasn't been the same. So Conklin and Becton at each side. Is Conklin a tackle? I think he is, right? But also, Browns have been connected to Trent Williams for the longest time. So this is probably my first pick that's not a lock. They might still take an offensive tackle, but not specifically Mekhi Becton. If they can make a Trent Williams trade maybe on draft night, I could see that happening. They trade this pick just straight up for Trent Williams. That could work also, and the Redskins take someone. Maybe they take that offensive lineman just to get rid of Williams and take on a new talent. I could see that happening. We have the Jets taking wide receiver CeeDee Lamb. This pick makes a lot of sense because Robbie Anderson did leave New York. He's heading to Carolina. So Jets get that new Robbie Anderson type player, which is CeeDee Lamb. Deep threat. He can make plays in the open field. He's a great run after catch guy. He can make the catch very well. He can shift around the football field, make people miss. Very similar to Robbie Anderson. So Jets are getting a wide receiver of the future right here with CeeDee Lamb. Probably the top wide receiver in this class. And following that, we have the Raiders landing Jerry Jeudy. Obviously, coming from an Eagles fan, there's been a lot of stuff coming out lately about maybe the Eagles trading up and taking one of these guys. But right now, they're just sitting back at the 21st pick. They might trade up. We don't know what goes on in Howie's mind. But don't be too surprised if you do trade up. So yeah, Jerry Jeudy heading to Raiders. They don't have that much. They have Tyrell Williams. They have Hunter Renfrow. That's about it at that wide receiver position in Oakland. Did they get a guy in free agency? I don't know. So yeah, Jerry Jeudy, awesome talent. Any team would take him. So I have him going to the Raiders. 49ers are taking defensive tackle Javon Kinlaw. This is the pick from the Colts that they traded. DeForest Buckner, right? They traded DeForest Buckner to the Colts for this pick. So they are getting that talent right back with Javon Kinlaw. In my opinion, the second best defensive tackle behind Derek Brown. That is a lock for me. 49ers need to rejuvenate that defensive line. Let's see if that pick pans out for them. Buccaneers. This is a good one. Obviously, Tom Brady signs with the Buccaneers. And I have them drafting an offensive lineman in the first round, which is Andrew Thomas. I think from Georgia, I think. Big dude. Big offensive tackle. He's definitely going to be able to stop that tough South AFC, NFC South defensive lines. I think this is a smart pick for the Buccaneers to take an offensive lineman in the first round. Be very surprised if they don't take an offensive lineman. I'll be concerned for Tom Brady. The Broncos are landing wide receiver Henry Ruggs. It hurts coming from an Eagles fan to see Henry Ruggs go to not the Eagles. But obviously, he heads to Denver. Denver's stacking up at wide receiver. They already got Cortland Sutton, and now they get Henry Ruggs. The Broncos are recharging. Obviously, Henry Ruggs, the fastest guy in the draft. Just a couple milliseconds short of the new 40-yard dash record. So the Broncos are getting a great talent. Falcons taking C.J. Henderson, corner. Obviously, Falcons lost Desmond Trufant. They released him. So they get that cornerback right back, and maybe the Desmond Trufant of the future with C.J. Henderson. Cowboys are taking linebacker Kalavin Chasan. I don't know how to say the last name. But that linebacker group is getting stronger. They already got Jalen Smith, Leighton Van Esch, and now Chasan. He could shift anywhere. Same with any linebacker. They can shift down to the right end, left end spot if they really need to, just to be that extra spy or be that blitzer off the end. But just a pretty much dynamic player for the Cowboys. If they need him, he can shift anywhere. Dolphins are taking offensive tackle Josh Jones to help stack up that offensive line for the Miami Dolphins to help any rookie quarterback that they draft, which is probably going to be Tua Tagovailoa. Good pick there for the Dolphins also. Raiders are taking cornerback Trayvon Diggs. I know the Raiders do have Gary and Conley, a first-round pick a couple years ago. So they got some young talent at corner already, and adding Trayvon Diggs is only going to make that stronger for them. Jaguars are taking quarterback Christian Fulton. Obviously, Jaguars need to take another defensive player. They lost A.J. Boye, and they fill in this hole with Christian Fulton. The Eagles are taking Justin Jefferson out of LSU. Obviously, Eagles are pretty much predicted to take a wide receiver in the first round. And the best guy available still at the spot is LSU's Justin Jefferson. Joe Burrow's number one target. He had a lot of touchdowns last year. Big bot. I think he's 6'3". He's a big dude. Draws a lot of comparisons to Calvin Johnson from my eyes. As a Calvin Johnson fan, I see Justin Jefferson, friends with Beckham. Maybe you see a trade. I don't know. Vikings are taking cornerback Jalen Johnson. Another situation where some team lost a guy and they get right back in the draft with some other dude. So they lost Xavier Rhodes and they pick up Jalen Johnson. Here we have the Patriots taking quarterback Jordan Love. Obviously, they lost Tom Brady. So maybe Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels wants to help develop another quarterback, maybe next Tom Brady and Jordan Love. This pick could change. This kind of came out after the fire. I'm like, ooh, let's take Jordan Love, best available. They lost Tom Brady. But maybe they also take Jalen Hurts later, like 3rd, 4th, 5th round. He's projected to go 3rd, 5th round. That's just how crazy this draft is. Like, a talent like Jalen Hurts is slipping to the 3rd, 5th round. That's crazy. Saints are taking wide receiver Denzel Mims. I know they are linked to Laviska Shenault also. There's a lot of good wide receivers like Jalen Reagor, Brandon Ayuk. KJ Hamler, T. Higgins. There's a bunch of dudes. It's a crazy draft class. So, yeah, I take them, another wide receiver, to go along with Michael Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders. Vikings are taking defensive end A.J. Epineza. They lost Everson Griffin. He's a free agent. A.J. Epineza has dropped in the draft. When I first made one on my own website, I put him very early. I had him going to the Falcons much more earlier in the draft. But he has dropped a little bit, so I moved him back a little bit. Dolphins, I have taken Yetur Gross-Matos out of Penn State. Matos, Tomatoes. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's a beast from Penn State. I know that. Big dude. Maybe the next Cameron Wake for the Dolphins. Not going to be in the Canadian Football League as long as he has, but definitely similar aspirations as Cameron Wake. Seahawks, I have taken offensive tackle Ezra Cleveland. Obviously, Seahawks need an offensive line for Russell Wilson. Not much on this dude. God, my computer keeps doing that. Ravens, linebacker Patrick Queen. I know they franchise tag Matthew Judon. I know that. So, just another weapon to go with that Ravens team. Also, we have the Titans taking another linebacker. They are taking Evan Weaver. Not much on this guy either. You know, it's later in the draft. My knowledge is not this deep. I wish it was so I could give you guys the best insight. But another linebacker, Titans haven't had the best linebackers in recent history, so maybe this will change it. Packers are taking wide receiver Jalen Reagor. I mentioned him earlier in the video. Next best talent on the board still, so they want to add to that wide receiving room with Devontae Adams. Gives Aaron Rodgers another weapon to deal with for the 2020 season. 49ers are taking cornerback Jeff Gladney. 49ers always focused on defense. And finally, we have the Chiefs taking cornerback Damon Arnett. Another corner. I think they lost Kendall Fuller in free agency, so they get that back also. Alright, thank you guys for watching this mock draft. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Check out my Instagram, PhillySportsEra. I'll drop that in the description. And have a good day, everyone.